Well, well, well. And here we are again, family. We are entering into part 4 of our marathon. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, staying in the game with us. I want to tell you that it is 7:24 in the morning, and we have been at this all night long. Oh yeah, we have. It's been interesting. We've been doing it to it, and you've been hanging in there with us, and it's a great thing. I want to tell you that nephew was up a moment ago, a little bit ago, and informed me that he was watching the very first video we put up. He said, I'm watching, I'm liking the video, and he's on his way to work. And I told him, okay, look, I'm working on uploading part 3. Been having some difficulty. Facebook is not wanting to upload the videos. I guess I'm uploading too much too fast. But you know what? I don't really care, because YouTube is taking it. And as I said before, guys, look, that's why I'm building a website, because Facebook is getting to the point where they're throttling things. They don't want to put things out. They don't want you to see things. And one of the reasons that Prince had a problem with Warner Brothers is they said, you're putting out music too fast. You know, you gotta wait. And he's like, no, I'm writing it, I'm putting it out. And that's why he started his own record label, so he could put it out as fast as he wanted to put it out, because he had a lot coming out. So if they're gonna slow me down, then I just need to speed up my website so I have a place to put it. As long as YouTube and my website will take it, it'll take it. Because I'll get to the point where I'm just fed up with Facebook and I just won't put anything there anymore. So if you don't see it, guess where I'm at. All right, family. So listen, we're going to move on into this, and let's see if we can get this last one over with. Okay. We're talking about virtuous woman is where we are now. We are talking about a virtuous woman. Now, we started moving through Galatians, and now we're into Proverbs. We started talking about, those things that keep us in the spirit, right? The fruit of the spirit, what is it? Love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. And so we want to make sure that we stay in that realm, because that's where the Father is going to see us. He's not going to see us in the streets ranting, raving, cursing, calling people names, telling the Gentiles they're not going to get in, and the Gentiles are going to get in. But it says the same people that held you captive, they will become your captives and your servants. So if you running around telling people they're not going to make it, then I guess you're going to end up being your own servant. So as you can see, before it was dark behind me. Sun's coming up, just like last time. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and move into this. I was on the internet looking for a virtuous woman, and I could not find a virtuous woman anywhere. I couldn't find a virtuous woman. That's interesting, that one cannot find a virtuous woman. Now, the scripture says to us, who can find, now I have a song called Proverbs of Solomon, and it starts off saying, who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies. A virtuous woman, she's a crown to her husband. Okay, this is 2 proverbs we're looking at right here, and I use them as the opening to a song. Okay, so wisdom is always seen as a woman. Whenever you read Proverbs and the other books of teaching, you'll find that wisdom is always spoken of as a woman. Let's just look at this. Whoso loveth instruction loveth knowledge, but he that hateth reproof is brutish. A good man obtaineth favor of the Lord, but a man of wicked devices he will condemn. A man shall not be established by wickedness, but the root of righteousness shall not be moved. A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband, but she that maketh ashamed is as rottenness in his bones. The thoughts of the righteous are right, but the counsels of the wicked are deceit. The words of the wicked are to lie in wait for blood, but the mouth of the upright shall deliver them. The wicked are overthrown and are not, but the house of the righteous shall stand. So that, let's see if we can open that up a little bit. The wicked are overthrown. They're taken out of power and are not. They're no longer there. Once they're overthrown, they are no longer there. That's what are not means. Okay. A man shall be commended according to his own wisdom, but he that is of a perverse heart shall be despised. He that is despised and has a servant is better than he that honoreth himself and lacketh bread. A righteous man regardeth the life of his beast, but the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel. Tender mercies. Some of that was going on. I just read about, let me see if I can bring that up for you, because where is she? I just read about this woman. Let's see if we can bring her back. Give me just a second, Mishpachah. I'm going to talk about the tender mercies of, here we go, right here. I'm going to talk about tender mercies. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to pull this up for you. And I'm going to tell you, this thing has been playing for the longest time. Okay. All of a sudden we're having issues because we're looking for a virtuous woman. All of a sudden we're having issues because we're looking for a virtuous woman. But we are going to do this anyway. Oh my. Okay, so all of a sudden we're having issues. I think the audio just cut out on us. But if it does, I didn't say too much of anything that you missed. I'm just trying to find a virtuous woman. So let me see if I can bring this up. Here we go. Let me try to bring this up for you. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to kill a couple of items. And see if this will help us with what we were doing. Wow. Okay, so you know what? We'll continue without that. I don't really need it. But listen, as long as you can hear me, that's okay. That's all fine. I just want to make sure that I can be heard. Let's see if we can make sure we got that. So I'm trying to show you that there is a time, during this time, in the 60s or whatever, whenever it was, I don't know when it was, but I think that it had been, just as black men were lynched, black women faced systemic sexual violence under Jim Crow. So they won't let me find a virtuous woman, but they'll show me one that they've been raping and beating up. This is an article. I can't see the title of it. I mean, I can't see the web page. The Rape of Reese Taylor explores the little-known terror campaign against black women. So it's in a newspaper called The Undefeated. And if you Google The Rape of Reese Taylor, you should be able to find this. So I'm out here on the internet trying to find something on a virtuous woman. And I see pictures of Kim Kardashian. I see pictures of Halle Berry. I see pictures of all of these Hollywood women, but I can't find a virtuous woman. There's absolutely nothing out there on a virtuous woman. They'll show me pictures of dudes, black guys, but I can't find a picture of a virtuous woman. Let me stop this. Turn that off. But I can't find a picture of a virtuous woman. Now imagine that. Let me show you something else. I can find, where is he? Where did I put him? Yeah. I can find this dude right here, right? I'm looking for a virtuous woman and this dude comes up. Okay. I don't know. You tell me. Is he gay or something? Why did he come up? I'm searching for a virtuous woman, but he came up. Now this looks like it's a brother from over in Africa, but look at him. He's got a microphone tatted on his arm, and then he's got something tatted on his chest that he's covering up. It's a couple of names, something and something. Hey, look, could that be, a dude? I mean, I'm looking at his hairs down his back, and I mean, don't get me wrong. I used to wear mine like that. Not like this, but, my hair was all the way around. I didn't have it cut off, and I wasn't wearing it like that, And I would put my hair back in a ponytail, and I just looked like, a long Indian ponytail or whatever. But, I mean, I don't know. I'm searching for a virtuous woman is what I'm saying, and this is what I get. Okay? So, I'm cool with finding the article. For Southern black women, the era of separate but equal was also a decades-long reign of white sexual terror. If Southern trees bore strange fruit, hello? Remember I showed you guys that? I showed you Southern trees bearing strange fruit. Remember that? Here's the Southern tree bearing strange fruit. This is the Timberland boot. Remember the poem that was done, Strange Fruit. Remember the Billie Holiday song that she did, Strange Fruit. This is what the trees were about, right? If Southern trees bore strange fruit, the homes and streets they shaded contained secrets that until recently have largely been swept over and ignored. The rape, wrong number 4, The Rape of Reese Taylor, a documentary that opens in New York theaters Friday, concentrates some much-needed sunlight on this period of American history and the women who lived through it. Directed by Nancy Bursky, the woman behind both the narrative film, Loving, and the documentary, The Loving Story, The Rape of Reese Taylor brings attention to a little discussed but common reality for black women in the Jim Crow South, racially motivated rape by white men. And then the story goes on for there. But I can't find anything on, on a virtuous woman. Imagine that. Can't find one thing on a virtuous woman. That's crazy. So, the wicked desireth the net of evil men, but the root of righteous yieldeth fruit. All right? It is not for kings, O Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drink, lest they drink and forget the law, and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted. Give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine to those that be of heavy hearts. Let him drink and forget his poverty, and remember his misery no more. Open thy mouth for the dumb and the cause of all such as appointed to destruction. Open thy mouth to judge righteously and plead the cause of the poor and the needy. Who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband does safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of his life. She seeketh wool and flax, and worketh willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant ships. She brings forth her food from afar. She rises also while it is yet night, and gives meat to her household, and a portion to her maidens. She considers a field and buys it, and with the fruit of her hands she plants a vineyard. She girds her loins with strength, and strengthens her arms. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good, and her candle goeth not out by night. She lays her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. She stretched out her hand to the poor, yea, she reached forth her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. Hello. She makes herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. This is a rich woman. Silk and purple. Back in those days, you had some cheddar. You had a little money on you, right? Her husband is known in the gates. That means that he in the city he has high regard. When he sitteth among the elders of the land. She makes fine linens and sells it, and delivers girdles unto the merchant. Strength and honor are her clothing. And she shall rejoice in time to come. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. Were we just talking about in Galatians? Fruit of the Spirit is the law of kindness. She looked well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. Her children arise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain, but a woman that fears the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her the fruits of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates, or in the city. Right? Now, that's a virtuous woman. Her works praise her. The ideal woman, what we got over here? See what this commentary says. The ideal woman, as portrayed here, is a wife. Not a girlfriend, but a wife. That's why I could care less about a girlfriend. You know, brothers need wives. I was married once, but I was her second husband. She was my first wife, so technically she wasn't mine. She belonged to somebody else. I haven't had a first wife yet. In other words, a woman who's never been married or with another man ever at all, that I would be her first. So I would, to marry, like Christ said, the man you're with now, you've been married before, and the one you're with now is not your husband. I heard some brothers doing a radio show talking about how women are planted by the men that they're with, or they are stamped, in other words. So if a man has a dominating spirit, and he's evil and he's mean, by him in leaving his seed in her, leaves behind portions of himself. And these other brothers that I was studying with, that brother was talking along these lines when he mentioned something like this about how, it takes 10 years for that man to get out of that woman. and she's with this dude and that dude and this dude and that dude, and look how many years are stacked up before a good dude can get with her. She don't know it because she's laying around with this guy and that guy. But a right man would know. So I always ask, how long you been single? Tell me 10, 15 years. We might be able to talk. That's how long I've been rolling by myself. You know, I like it with somebody. It's like I'm a virgin again. So that's how we're supposed to operate. You know, you don't just be jumping from guy to guy. You can only have one head. Literally one head. And you got 4 or 5 guys seeming up in you. You know, you can't have that many heads. And then how are you going to act? That's why most of our women are crazy. She's not virtuous. There's no way to be virtuous when you're living like that. So that's the sad part, because, you know, a lot of our women, they don't know that this, they don't know. I have a maybe I should post that I should post that so that everyone can see what that is, and hear these brothers talk about this, because they break it down. You know, if you're a virgin and you've never been with a man before, he imprints on you. His imprint, that's how a woman becomes what her man needs her to be, because he imprints her. So if you've been with somebody in the last 10 years, in reality, you don't need to be with anybody, because that's your man. That's your head. So you can't leave this person and go get with somebody else 3, 4, 5 years down the road. You've still got a head over you. It takes some time to get him out of your system. And that's what these brothers talk about. She's a virgin, brand new. She never been with anybody. You imprint her. She's yours. She's going to be like you. It's just like when you get a brand new horse. Never been ridden by anybody. The way you break that horse will be broken to ride for you. Now, I'm not equating a woman with a horse. I'm not. I'm just using that as an example, right? No one else will be able to ride that horse like you, because that horse is used to you. Used to your weight, used to the way that you work with it. You know, that's why you take a horse and you raise it from a baby. And by the time you get ready to ride, it's never been ridden before. It's so used to you. You can do anything with it. You lay down, sleep with it, the whole nine. You know, that's your horse. It'll follow you around like your pet, like your dog or whatever. It's your horse. You can get on her back and you can sit up there, and it won't try to throw you off because it knows you. Let somebody else come to that horse. It doesn't know you. Get off my back. I don't know you. Right? And it's the same with your woman. So if she's a virgin, a maid of any age, she's never ever been with a man. When you lay with her, when you go in unto her, she's going to imprint onto you and become exactly what you need. So same thing. If she hasn't been with anybody in 15 years, 20 years, by the time that you two come together and consummate, she's going to imprint on you. There's nothing in the way to stop this union. It's a soul thing. It's a spiritual thing. The two become one. So, my first wife, I didn't know any better because I wasn't in this truth then. I didn't know. It's not my first wife. So I'm at the point where I said, well, you know what, Father? If you bring me somebody, cool. If you don't, cool. I'm good. I've already learned how to take care of that. I've already learned how to live without that. So it's no big issue. Don't get me wrong. It was a struggle. For a whole lot of years, it was a struggle. But, and I had to learn, what is and what isn't. I thought, I've had people say, self-love is the best love. I agree, even though I wasn't, doing anything and I was celibate. I'm like, well, okay, I agree with that. If you feel like you just got to have, a release, probably better for you to do it yourself than to go out there and get with somebody and mess stuff up. So self-love, hence self-love. But I've since learned about seed, especially since we've, been in this truth, about who, the Father guards this seed. You just can't spill this seed anywhere. That's like putting it on the ground. He might kill you. He jealously guards his seed. So you can't just be running around even masturbating. He guards his seed. And I was like, whoa. Because I didn't know that before, So, just like there's virtuous women, there's virtuous men. We have to guard ourselves and guard, the seed. So it's a major thing. It really is a major thing. So over here, let's continue on because we're almost done with these scriptures. We're tearing these scriptures up. Okay. So here we go. A bishop must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach. Now, I was looking at this, okay, and because there's some brothers who teach that it's okay to have multiple wives. There's some brothers out there that have multiple wives. One of the brothers who I just recently started following, I think he has a couple of wives. I don't know, but I think I haven't gotten into them that deep, but if I'm reading the scriptures correct, it says husband of one wife. Now, there's some brothers that teach that it's okay. There's some brothers that teach that it's not. For me, I know like this. I have enough trouble. I could never be a player. I had enough trouble keeping track of just one woman and dealing with just one woman. So having multiples probably wouldn't work for me. But he did say something. Excuse me. He said that when the women understood their role in their places and they worked together like sisters, there was no static in the house, because it wasn't like Rachel and Leah, competing for his affections. I'm gonna give him 3 sons, and I'm gonna give him. There was no competition for everybody was. This woman was. She goes to work. This one took care of the kids. This one cooked. This one. Everybody knew their role, and they just worked together to make that little community work. In a situation like that, excuse me, if that's lawful and scriptural, and I haven't read it yet, and I haven't seen it yet, and I've been all through these scriptures, but I haven't looked at these scriptures like that in order to see them, so I really don't know. I have to go looking for that, but I ask the Father to lead me and show me that. But if that was the case and it was lawful and scriptural, then I could see that working. But I saw Adam with one wife. Somewhere along the line, the house of Judah was having multiple wives. David had multiple wives. He had wives of many nations. I think Solomon had a few wives. We see that various different kings having multiple wives, and a lot of them of different nations. Moses took a wife from a different nation. I don't know if he had a couple of wives. I'd have to go back and look at that. But there's places in scriptures where we see that there have been multiple wives. Why that was and what that was about, I don't know the motivation behind it. But I'd have to look at that and see what I can find out about it, and then go into it on that level. So, and I'm easy to tell you, if I don't know something, I don't know a thing. I'm just looking at what I see. A bishop must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, good behavior, given to hospitality, and apt or able to teach, not given to wine, no striker, not greedy of filthy lucre, but patient, not a brawler, not covetous, one that ruleth well his own house, having his children in subjection with all gravity. For if a man not know how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the church? I don't believe in the church of God. Not a novice, so he's not new at this, lest being lifted up with pride he fall into condemnation of the devil. Moreover, he must have a good report of them which are without, and that's people who are outside of his faith or outside of his belief, outside of his hear my dogs blowing. Outside of have a good report of them who are not of his house, lest he fall into reproach and the snare of the devil. Something about the deacons also. Is there likewise the deacons must be grave. Excuse me. not double-tongued, not given to much wine, not greedy or filthy lucre, holding the mystery of the faith in pure conscience. And let these first also be proved, and let them use this office of a deacon, being found blameless. Even so must their wives be grave, and not slanderers, sober, faithful in all things. Let the deacons be the husbands of one wife. So this looks like, when you're dealing with, the church itself, your pastor, your deacons, these people who are in office of authority, who are over you for that, let them have one wife and not be, multiple wives. We see how many pastors we see, running through the church today. Not only do they have their own wife, but they're sleeping with sister so-and-so and brother so-and-so's wife and deacon so-and-so's wife. And he just, he's a master of the hen house. He got anybody he wants. I remember one time I was in this church, and I was liking this girl. And, we had been talking, nothing had occurred yet, nothing had transpired yet, but we had been talking. And this preacher came from out of town. And all of a sudden she dropped off the map. Couldn't talk to her, couldn't find her, blah, 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 blah. About 6 months later, she popped back up on the scene, belly sticking way out here. It was obvious at that point. Right? What happened? Right? But you want to come back and talk to me now. Oh, now you're looking for a baby daddy. See you later. That's not a virtuous woman. But we see that all the time in church. So that's what I'm saying. We have to carry ourselves in a particular fashion. Also, people are looking at us and people are watching us, even when we don't know that they are. So we have to carry ourselves in a particular fashion. There's qualifications. There's terms and conditions in this. I was just telling somebody the other day, I wrote a song called Terms and Conditions. So, for that they have used the office of a deacon well, purchased to themselves a good degree, and great boldness in the faith which is in Christ Jesus. These things I write unto thee, hoping to come unto thee shortly. This is Paul saying, but if I tarry long, that thou mayest know that thou oughtest to behave thyself in the house of God, which is the church of the living God, the pillar and the ground of the truth. And without controversy, great is the mystery of godliness. God was manifest in the flesh, justified in the spirit, seen of angels, preached unto the Gentiles, believed on in the world, received up in glory. So, Hebrews, we got to check our behavior. We've been behaving in some very, very strange ways that don't line up with these scriptures. And if we're going to line up with these scriptures and we expect the Father to see us, then we got to come up blameless, because the scripture said that the righteous are going to scarcely make it in by the skin of their teeth. I don't know. Maybe you have skin on your teeth, but I don't have any skin on mine. And that means that even though I might count myself righteous, I'm barely going to make it in. I'm talking squeaking in, and by barely making it in, it's going to hurt to enter. I'll be scraping the floor trying to get in underneath that gate. Barely making it in. The righteous barely make it in. So you don't have a chance when you barely make it in. See, that's like, I used to always say, don't give me a chance, give me half a chance, let me show you. Well, if you barely make it in, you don't have a chance. You're going to barely make it in. And if the righteous, if all of us barely make it in, that means we're late. We're slow. Even in our most righteous walk, we're still so sinful that we barely make it in. And the only reason that some of us will is because of the blood that was shed at the cross. If it wasn't for that blood, we wouldn't make it at all. None of us would make it at all if it wasn't for that blood. So you got to watch how you walk, Israel, because our behavior is very bad, and Messiah is soon to come. Okay? They're looking for him. They're looking for him. Let me show you how they're looking for him, because they're looking. You might think they're not looking. They're looking. They're paying attention harder than we are. And I'll show you. You see, because he's coming to the planet from somewhere else. Okay? I want you to see how hard they're looking. I'm going to show you this. Look at this. Now, can you see that? You see what that is? The bottom says oneworldofnations.com. Look it up. This is a telescope, the world's most powerful telescope. It is owned by the Vatican. It is in Arizona. When the Vatican took over a native Indian holy land, their most holy site, which they believe is a stargate. Like Mount Hermon is a stargate, right? When you read about the angels who fell, they came down on Mount Hermon. That's the portal they came through on Mount Hermon. Here's another one on the top of this mountain. The Vatican, the church, took it over and built their telescope on it. See, it has 2 eyes. See the name of it? It's Lucifer. It's a large binocular telescope, near-infrared utility camera, and integral field unit for extragalactic research. Extragalactic. You know what that is, right? The galaxy, they're looking for him to come to. They're watching the skies to see him come. They're looking. The Vatican is looking. This is the reason why they want a space force. Have you figured that out yet? They're going to try to fight him when he comes to get us. You figured that out yet? He says, I'm coming to get you. He's coming to get us. And they're watching the skies to see when he comes. Extragalactic research. They're watching the sky. See, you think I'm playing. You know, I'm sure. Go to oneworldofnations.com. Look it up for yourself. This is real talk. This is real talk. I'm going to show you something. See, because you guys don't pay attention, right? I'm going to show you something. It came to pass in the 30th year, in the 4th month, the 5th day of the month, I was among the captives. They're already in captivity by the river Chebar, that the heavens were opened, and I saw visions of God. In the 5th day of the month, which was the 5th year of King Jehoiakim's captivity, the word of the Lord came expressly unto Ezekiel the priest, the son of Buzi, in the land of the Chaldeans by the river Chebar, and the hand of the Lord was there upon him. And I looked, and behold, stay with me now, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, a fire enfolding itself, and the brightness was about it, and in the midst thereof was the color of ember out of the midst of fire. Okay, so let's take a look at this, right? Let's take a look at this. I'm going to show you something. We did this already. Amber. Amber. What do you see? Hebrew 28:30. Chashmal. It's of an uncertain derivation, but they're saying that it's probably bronze or polished spectrum metal, amber. What whirlwind do you know of that is metal? Open your mind. Stay with me now. What whirlwind do you know of that is metal? Highly polished bronze. All right, so let me tell you. They are looking for a craft. They're looking for a craft. They're looking for a space craft from the galaxy, because this is a large binocular telescope, near infrared utility with camera, integral field unit for extragalactic research. The Vatican. They're not looking for ET, yo. This is Lucifer. And if you can't understand this, then you are seriously, seriously lost. They know more than what they let on. This is why you have to read the extracurricular books, the extra canonical books. This is why you need to be in the Apocrypha. This is why you need to be reading the Gospel of Nicodemus. This is why you need to read the story of Mary and Joseph. That you need to be reading all of these scrolls that they found in that cave in Qumran, or multiple caves. This is where the Masoretes were writing these down, preserving these documents so that they're not lost to history, because one book was found. They got our scrolls, and the Roman Catholic Church got our scrolls, and they rewrote them in a way that they wanted us to have it out of the Latin. And it took King James to come along and get it translated out of the text that they had available at the time, the Greek, the Vulgates, the Latins, and get us a King James 1611. And 1611 had all 80-something books in it. And then later on, the Pope gets in charge again and says, no, we're going to take these books out and put them to the side. You don't need those books. This is what you need right here. And how long have they been telling you not to read these other books? But you've got Jude and James talking about Jasher and Jubilees and the book of Enoch. And well, how come you can't read these books if these other books, if James and Jude knew about them and told you, isn't it not written in the book of Jubilees? Isn't it not written in the book of Jasher? Then you should be reading that book too, because they knew. James was the brother of Mashiach. That's his brother. So that means that the Mashiach knew about those books too. If his brother James knew about them, then so did he. Come on now, it's only common sense. Why are you not reading them? Why don't you have them? I gave you the pseudepigrapha, showed you where it was. I just gave someone the other day the Gospel of Nicodemus, and I sure hope you've read it. I really want to talk to you about that. I want to spend some time with you and talk to you about that. I just want to talk to you about it. See what you got out of it. Because I like doing that. Like I said, I don't need television. I don't need radio. I have plenty of ways to entertain myself, and you're one of them. So, look into these things. See that sun in the bottom left-hand corner? That's the Roman Catholic symbol over there, and you do sun worship. You see that? Why would the Roman Catholic Church, supposed to be a Christian organization or entity, they took our scriptures and they're using them for evil? You don't think so? Why they name their camera Lucifer? Oh, it's an acronym for the Large Binocular Telescope Near Infrared Utility Camera and Integral Field Unit for Extragalactic Research. Yeah, right. I will almost guarantee you that that is a fallen angel on the left-hand side. Rolling with the Catholic Church with a telescope named Lucifer, I can guarantee you that's a fallen angel. And the 200 that fell are named by name, the first 20 actually, because they're the leaders of that 200. That first 20 is named by name in the book of Enoch. Yeah. Mishpachah, there's more than meets the eye. There's more going on here than we've been told. There's more going on here than commonly is taught. And the stuff that's taught is taught in such a way as to keep us blind and out of the realm of things. They don't want us to know anything. And if you stay with that mindset, you won't know anything. And that's the whole point. They don't want you to know anything, Mishpachah. They want you to know nothing. They want to keep you blind and dumb and out of the loop. I don't want you blind and dumb and out of the loop. I want you to do just exactly what I do. This tool that we call the internet is just a tool. And baby, it won't be here much longer. They're already throttling it back and putting a squeeze on it. Like I just heard the other day that your cable companies are going to be able to say what websites you go to and what websites you see, because they'll be able to say, well, I don't want to support that website. I don't want to, because it's coming down my network. I don't want. So they're going to be able to say, no, you can't have Facebook. No, you can't have YouTube. Just like China. And if you want it, well, then I'll let you have it, but you're going to have to pay for it. It's all about money. It's all about revenue. Pretty soon you won't even have the option, because they'll control everything. There'll be a one world government, a one world money, and a whole new God. And where are you going to stand? With your tattoos and your little punk rock haircuts, and you're just going to walk away and you're going to fall away. You're going to be like, he's taking too long. I can't endure this. He's taking too long. And so you're going to take the chip. You're going to take the mark of the beast. Because you want to live. Family. Time's winding up. It's getting short. I don't know what you're going to do, because your behavior has me questioning you now when I see you. Hey, I love you all, and I know you got better things in you. We just have to make better choices. Is being with this sex kitten, is that worth your salvation? See, look, she could be Jennifer Lopez fine, and you could be Enoch righteous, and tonight you decide to go get you a little bit. And while you're breaking that back, all of a sudden you have a heart attack. In this realm, or you have a stroke in this realm, where you think you're going to wake up on that side? You're going to wake up with the righteous, Lazarus over here, or you're going to wake up with the rich man over there? Where do you think you're going to wake up? I'm not trying to scare you, but I'm just telling you that willful sin is loss of sacrifice. If you die in your sin, everything that you've done is lost, because you died in sin. That doesn't get accounted to you for righteousness. That stuff doesn't happen until judgment. But when you die in sin, you got to go sit with the sinners until judgment. You might get some light during judgment, but you got to wait until then. In the meantime, if you got to go sit in darkness, it is pitch black. There is no light. Go read the Gospel of Nicodemus. There's no light. We got to do better, y'all. Myself included. I got things in me I need to fix. That's what I'm saying. When the Father gives me the sword, it cuts both ways. When I draw the sword across, it's cut me across my chest. When I pull it out the back, it's slicing me across my back before it even drops on you. Me as well. All of us. The righteous are going to scarcely make it in by the skin of their teeth. I don't count myself worthy. I'm not worthy. Oh, I want to be. I strive to be. But I'm not worthy. And if you think you're worthy, you're lying to yourself. You'll be the first one to go into perdition. And I hope that scares the heck out of you. I really do. And if you don't care, go put your Jimmy on and go lay with that girl again. That's not your wife. I heard a song. Dude sang a song. He's a Hebrew. Sang a song. Sitting there with his phone. His girl is at the sink. And he's texting this chick that he's been sleeping with on the phone. That's his wife at the sink. But he's texting this chick. Now see, that's adultery. How you going to be a Hebrew trying to teach and show anybody anything and you committing adultery? I'm just saying. I love you guys. Okay. I'm gonna leave that right there. And I'm gonna say peace to you, family. And I hope you have peace today. That is a shot of the lake that I live on. I like getting shots of the moon with my DSLR. Sometimes I'll go out and I'll catch that moon just right, y'all. I don't even know what else to say to you. I just pray the Most High has mercy on all of us. I just pray that when we pray, that the words that come out of our mouth are not empty words. I pray that the Father will allow us to have words of substance that are pleasing to His ears when we speak them, instead of our words just being empty, vainless words meaning nothing when it comes to Him and His Son. I love you, Mishpachah. Be good to yourselves and each other.